So yeah, man, we hadn't talked in a while, and I'm excited to hear about Brockmire. I think it's a good idea to talk about it. I haven't looked into what you're doing.
Yeah, so I'll be honest. I was one of the players that kind of fell off a little bit. Number one, being busy with the new house and everything, and you just kind of need a little bit of a break. I didn't completely cut off from the site, but a couple teams that I had, I just kind of let run on autopilot. Um, Even got out of redraft for a little bit, but jumped back in this year and having the most miserable season of all time.
Sounds good. But then it'll reset next year. So
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And maybe I just don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Yeah, with Brockmire, it was kind of part of the idea came from Baseball Dynasty. I don't know if you know Baseball Dynasty, but there was a lot of really good owners in that league, and it was always a $75 million cap league. So that's what we did with Brockmire, but we put a couple little wrinkles in the league. Number one, having a Rule 5 draft. And just trying to be really active. We started right from the beginning with a new team draft. So everyone inherited a team that had an existing team together, but we also had a really heavily loaded free agent pool to start with. And, we did multiple rounds to get the league kicked off, which was really fun.
Are you guys already started?
Have we started? Oh yeah, Brockmire's run 39 seasons at this point.
No, it was just the reboot. It was the reboot of the big push.
So that
agents got it.
That all has to do with the fact that because the game has changed and salaries have changed, we decided to drop the 75 million cap to 65 for this upcoming season. So it's still going to be a soft cap, so you can realistically stay over that cap. I think there was 4 teams I looked at last that were still over 70. So they're obviously over the 70 or 65 million cap, and they can stay that way, but they will not participate in the upcoming preseason free agent draft, which is what we've basically just kind of kicked off actually about an hour or so ago with the top team making their pick. So that's the whole.
You're doing a draft of those preseason free agents that we added,
and whatever players that teams drop to make room for some of these prized. And it's a good mix too, because if you're a winning team, and this is something that J-Dub kind of stressed on, he's like, I hope it's not going to be something that's just going to help the bottom echelon teams, because he's got a winning team at the moment. He's always got a winning team because he just wheels and deals like crazy. So 2 things, I agreed with that. And I said, okay, so 2 things we're going to do for that. We're going to make it a snake draft. So if you do have pick 24, you're going to pick 25 too. Mm-hmm. So that works out for the better teams. And also this pool of free agents that we put in there is good from 32-year-old vets all the way down to, I think the number 1 pick is going to be a 19-year-old pitcher. So, so that's it's going to be good. It's going to be good in a lot of ways. And I'll kind of back up a little bit. We have a really, really firm minimum win rule in the league. 50 wins per season is the very, very minimum. You get a penalty if you go under 50 wins. 50 wins should be easily obtained, even if you're not trying. But if you're really, really tanking, you can go below that. But on top of that, we have a 3-year minimum win rule, which a lot of leagues have. Yeah. Ours is 190, which is a little bit higher than I've seen in the past. So it's 10 more wins for 3 years than that 180 that I've seen in a lot of leagues.
What's
the other wrinkle that we have actually have a 5. It's changed over the years, and I'll be honest, I think it's like you get moved back to the end of your block. But you can also get compounded penalties. So if you it's basically 5 spots. So if you fall below 50 and you fall below the 3-year, you get a 10 stroke penalty. We also have a 5-year penalty, which makes it it's probably something we're going to have to adjust a little bit. It's 350 wins. So basically we're asking you to win 70 games per season, which has been a little bit challenging for teams, me included. I've been hit with penalties, twice in this league now, and it's just one of those things. So
this is all just the idea of getting everybody, make it just anti-tanking.
Yeah, well, yeah, that and just making it a difficult league to try to stay competitive and not when you rebuild, not totally go bottom of the basement. So
can I ask you how you guys do the Rule 5 draft?
So the Rule 5 draft happens early in the season. The reason we have it early in the season is so because I don't know, but it was brought up by a really good owner we had early on, Nick or something like that, Matt, Matta. I forget, but he was in he was either in Ultra or LEG with us. But anyway, he brought up the fact that he likes to put people like up and down from his active roster to AAA and kind of like to save fatigue, CFAT when we had CFAT.
Mm-hmm.
So we do it early in the season so we get it all out of the way. So the way it works is you can carry your normal minor leagues, but anyone 26 and over is free game. So if you're just holding them down there and they're a half decent player, someone can snatch them up. The reward for losing a player is a bottom second round pick or a top third. So I think it's I think we have it like the lower 6 second round or the top 6 third rounds. I mean, if someone's welcome to send a second round of of their choice, but they can't send anything beyond what's that, 30, number 30 or no, number 54 or something like that. So you're basically going to get something in return, but again, it could be a top third round pick.
How many guys get moved on that in a year?
Not many. It's never become a huge thing. Maybe 5 or 10 on the busiest year that we've had it. It's only I think it runs maybe 48 hours or something like that. So you have that little short time frame to do all that, and then we get on with the season. I mean, we don't pause or anything. It happens right at the start of the season. Just so we get it done and over with. But there's a little wrinkle in that now. With the cap dropping to 65, it's going to affect the Rule 5 by basically holding owners who are going to be over the $65 million cap to a 40-man roster like MLB does.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not going to monitor it, but when Rule 5 season comes up and a team is over the cap and they have 40 people in their franchise, anyone can be swiped from the minor league system. Sort of a little bit of a penalty for being over that golf cap. So it's a little wrinkle. I'm thinking that's going to spark. I think it's going to spark that Rule 5 time, because people are going to be going on there looking to see if someone's over the cap and if they have more. So it would be challenging to monitor it, to make sure that, so I'm not going to say you can only have 15 people and you're going to be penalized some other way. So it's basically, you want to have 16 people in your minors, be prepared, because one of your top might get swiped.
That's a great idea for how to enforce some of that in a low work way. That's kind of fascinating. Tell me about how you guys decide all this stuff. How did you come up with these things?
So Brockmire was a show. If anyone didn't see it, Hank Azaria and Amanda Peet. He played this dysfunctional Vin Scully type character. He wore the plaid blazer and everything, and he always worked the game solo like Vin Scully did, and just a bit outside, that kind of moniker that he always used.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, he was a misfit. He was a drinker and he was an alcoholic. He was basically, I think the background of the show was he was a legitimate Vin Scully type announcer, and he fell on hard times. Next thing you know, I think the show starts with him, working a booth by himself, some low A ball league or something like that. But anyway, the whole point of that was, he was a reject, a dysfunctional kind of guy. And our theme was, for all the teams coming in, you had to pick an MLB city, and it had to be named after a team that was in that city. Didn't matter what sport, but a defunct league, a defunct team. So we had, like, mine, for instance, being from Philly, I picked the Stars. The Stars were the USFL football team that is no longer, but I guess it's back now. I don't know. But also the Negro League here. The Negro League here in Philly was also the Stars too. So it kind of pays tribute to both of them. But we have the Detroit Wolverines. We had the Cleveland Spiders to begin with. We had one of my favorites. It was kind of it didn't start this way. Was the New York Bridesgrooms. That was actual name for one of the teams that played in New York. But so we had some interesting. We had had some different play on the teams. The Los Angeles Lulus were an actual team. Volp started with San Diego. I forget. I think he named it after a soccer team or something like that. But it was fun because, number one, we were pretty strict with that. You had to have a team that, let me hold on a second. I gotta get
okay.
This fucking puppy is like eating everything, and I gotta watch every move he makes.
All right.
So my wife's gonna flip out that he just tore up one of her shoes. I didn't realize he wasn't in the room with us.
Tell me about, when you're talking about these wrinkles, the new rules, how you guys came up with those, or was it just you declared them?
I don't know if it was my connection or yours, but I missed what you had to say.
I wanted to know about, you're talking about the new wrinkles and the new rules. How did you guys come to those? Are you voting? Is one person declaring them? What's the?
I was the founder and original commissioner of the league. I stepped back for a while. Guys like Grimm and Orange Cat and Dave W have kept the league running pretty solid for a while since I've stepped back from that. But like a lot of leagues, without doing like the forum drafts and things like that, I feel like the interactions really dropped off. And this was just kind of an idea to kind of get back to that, but also fold in the Discord piece to it. So, so we had you put together the channel for Brockmire, and we already have 11 in there now. So, or 10, whatever, without that bot. And I think it's gonna grow from there. I'm also opening it up saying, hey, anyone that's on Discord, jump on in, check out what we're doing, see, maybe to get some ideas for some of their leagues to kind of do that, the cross between Discord and the forums to kind of, because the forums have dropped off a little bit. So it just takes somebody to kind of drive it a little bit, because the links work really well between Discord and forum. I mean, you put them in there, a little little preview comes up from the forums on there, so you kind of get an idea what the link that you're clicking to is going to be.
Yep.
So yeah, it works out pretty good. We also have those talk channels. So what I'm going to do is each night at 7 o'clock, I'm going to be updating. You can share your screen on here on Discord. So I'll be updating by sharing my screen. If anyone's in the channel at the same time, we'll bullshit. We'll chat. Maybe a couple trades will get done.
That's a great idea.
Announce picks like in Discord. I announced the first pick of the preseason draft. It was G. Sabino, who's a Canadian that I've known for a long time in a lot of different leagues. He picked a 19-year-old pitching prospect, so he's going to be number one. I'm on the clock now with number two, so I'm going to make that pick also.
I love the idea of you doing a nightly update. That is an awesome idea.
Yeah, because and if you think back to it, the blocks that we always used were 16 blocks, so it's nothing difficult. I can have lists. If I have lists like we always used to do, or if I have someone who is picking third and waiting on pick number 2 to be announced, then they can be sitting there standing by, and I'll pan over to them and say, okay, what's your pick? That kind of thing. So
that's a good idea.
I don't think I really answered your question about how we came up with everything. I kind of drove all these ideas, and OCAT and Grim and Dave, they all kind of were all on board with everything. The whole voting thing has always been a little it gets a little touchy when you do that, because the next thing you know, it drags on and on and on. We've been talking about this since the beginning of last season, and I wanted to make sure that that didn't happen again. So we've been talking. It came back up during the playoffs of Brockmire, since things slowed down a little bit, and people were jumping in on the forums again, and I'm sure someone's not going to be happy with going down from 75 to 65, but there's a lot of room. I mean, that my team's rebuilding, and it's I think it's under $40 million that I have in my franchise. So I got a lot of room to play with.
I think we told you when you were talking about getting those free agents, we've got some changes coming. I think we've got development changes, but we got some free agency changes coming too. But looking at the financial model, I think we're trying to do some stuff on our end to give leagues more options to be able to tweak kind of how much pressure there is, how much churn of players there is, let's say, how much of a free agent market there is. But I really would encourage, I think leagues need to also think about their salary caps and how much pressure they want to put on teams, right? I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, so that's where we're at. Like I said, I think it's going to be fun to have that old school forum draft, and also kind of have some opportunities to jump on Discord and maybe make a live pick or tune into the picks for that block, and it kind of adjust their next block pick, that kind of thing. So
you got spots open for people if they're interested.
Possibly. I'm wondering if some of our temp owners are going to get the itch and maybe be like, I kind of like to see where this team goes. But I do have a couple temp owners. We had 5 open teams. We had some nice owners that decided to at least do some housekeeping for me, make the picks for the team, set it up for the season. So we might have a couple teams open. We'll see what happens after the draft. But it could be a possibility that we need some, someone who wants to jump on in.
Okay. Well, if I'm not sure if you're going to share this, if I'm going to share this, if we're going to bury it somewhere, but if you're putting it out there, and if anybody's interested, hopefully that would help. But I don't know, you're giving me some ideas for. I don't know. I love hearing the different rules of different leagues. The
Rule 5 was always one of those things where we kind of would have liked it to be a little bit more of a part of the league, but it just became one of those extra things, and someone always had to maintain it. But yeah, I mean, what are you going to get from someone like that? 26 years old, they're still in the minors. Basically, I always got a reliever out of it, a functional reliever. Maybe you get a vet back, because that's what was happening. People would take one of their vets that they could take or leave, and they would stick him down in their minors, and someone would be like, hey, I can use that guy. He's 35 years old, but he's still got some power or something like that. And so that started happening too, where you would have liked it to be a true Rule 5 thing where, it was all prospects coming up. So.
All right. I meant to ask about the draft you're doing with the free agents. So is that a one-time thing? Is there a plan to?
I don't think.
Joke.
Yeah, I don't think like Pimps League Ultra. I guess they do that every year. I don't see that happening. We haven't talked about that. This is all because our free agent market was barren, and teams that are in the penalty, like myself and other teams that have been in previous years, it's really, really hard to get out of that hole. And it's not because we didn't try. We just don't have any free agents to work with. Trade activity's gone down with some of the interaction going down. So so it's for now, it's just to kind of give the league a little bit of a boost and give some of the teams that are struggling right now some options to get out of that hole. And in turn, it's also going to help some of these strong teams maybe even get stronger and keep pushing for more and more playoff opportunities.
I think the best thing I've heard in all of this is your scheduled updates for people to check in on.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that my work schedule is going to work.
People should rip you off on that idea and do the same thing.
Well, we also talked about the some of the other things, some of the other ideas for interaction with what was the thing you were doing with where Jar was always contributing.
Oh yeah, the blog.
My idea was going to be kind of like to scour through the site and maybe pick up some things that are going on in different leagues that are kind of cool, and different achievements, and kind of post that nightly update with like Chevy Chase kind of thing. So maybe that'll still happen. We'll see what happens.
Sounds awesome. Yeah, figure out how to record them too, for people that can't get on when you're doing it.
Yeah, we originally, when we first got on Discord, we thought with like Tournament of Champions, I thought we all thought we were going to be able to record in that talk channel. I don't think that's an option. So, so that's why we went to Zoom. So that's it works.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, that sounds awesome. I'm glad you got the energy to do this stuff. Hope everybody is inspired by.
Yeah, it definitely got more forum posts than we've had in a while. So people are engaged, and I'm sending out the PMs, and I'm hitting up people on Discord just to say, hey, make sure don't waste your pick. I mean, there's a lot of different options here. I mean, I could literally go and take a league ready player right now, and it would help my team and help me get out of the hole. But I'm gonna keep on doing the smart thing and keep going for the prospects, and wait till the 2-round draft is over. And I think there's still going to be players out there to bid on the open market and free agency. So
who's
that's the plan.
You said J-Dub. Is J-Dub the favorite for the?
The season that just ended culminated with a team, the Scranton/Boston franchise, winning for the first time in league history. The owner there is G-Town Mohawks. So he pushed the team to its first ever title. So
all right. I don't know that name. Congratulations.
Yeah. So that was 2019. This is 2020 now. We're almost at the actual year.
Is there a name for that people have? The reflection point, or what is it when you hit the actual date?
I don't know. Never really thought about it, but yeah, we're a couple couple seasons away from hitting the right time. I know it's always kind of one of those things where you're playing the game and the actual date of the date is the same as the day that it actually is, and it's always, I don't know, it always kind of
fun.
makes you think. Yeah.
Should celebrate.
But
right,
yeah,
man.
so that's where we're going with Brockmire, and hope some, like I said, I don't want this just to be the league jumping in there. I want, anyone that wants to kind of tune in. I'm sure I'll probably get Slick in there somewhere along the line to kind of tune in and give his 2 cents about draft picks and stuff like that.
Let me know what I can do to help get those nightly shows known by people. Make them most readily available. All right.
Sounds good.
All right. It's good
See you,
talking
Russ.
about. Take it easy.
Later.